HooHooHooRobin.
We got Chris Hanson.
Yes.
From To Catch a Predator.
Mm-hmm.
That show is beyond huge.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. He's been on our show a couple times. On the phone, in studio.
Yep.
Let's get him in here.
Sure.
Chris Hanson, everybody.
Oh, Steve's going to get him.
Oh, okay.
They're doing marathons now on MSNBC. 9 to 4 in the morning.
Yeah, love it.
Got a little surprise for him.
Hey, how are you? Good. Why don't you take a seat over there, Chris?
I know that was coming.
Enjoying the cookies and lemonade?
Well, you know, we had brownies at the last...
Take a seat. Brownies, did you? Brownies.
Exactly.
So, what are you doing here?
I just came to be on the Opie and Anthony show.
On the Opie and Anthony show.
Well, yeah, I've been here before.
You've been here before. So you've done this before.
No, you're supposed to say, it's not your first time.
So it's not your first time. I have a few
you have transcripts
of things that, well, let's listen to them together and see if you recognize any of these. Is this you, Chris?
I'm not going to avoid the subject. I would like to make love to you after we are done boot shopping. I have a serious fetish for boots.
Do you have a fetish for boots? Is that what you were saying in this?
This is like the, being put on the spot here. It's
well, you did say that, didn't you? I believe that's your voice. Do we have another clip for Chris?
I can't control my horny level. I want to blank your brains out. I can't help it.
You know, when I read that back to that particular potential predator, there was something in the back of my mind that said, that could come back to haunt me.
Oh, so you're saying you've read this back?
Before.
This was in reference to a 15-year-old girl.
Well, it was.
I think we have one more clip. Chris, is this you?
Remember, sex is a little nasty. I don't want your dad to find stuff in his bed.
Chris, you're a responsible journalist. And now you understand your life is ruined. I'd like to bring our camera crew out here. You do realize this is on video.
You're supposed to say, there's something I've got to tell you. We're Opie and Anthony. We're on 92.3 K-Rock.
He invented this game.
Yeah, but
He's so damn good at it.
Yeah, but he's sweating a little bit. Just a little bit. You can hear it.
Early. We usually shoot these investigations at night. I have a whole day to prepare.
I'm sorry, our camera crew's not as big as yours.
No.
Exactly.
I love when they come out with the booms too. That's fantastic.
Well, you got to hear everything.
Well, Chris Hanson.
Wait, can we play the last one?
What is there more?
Well, we had a whole bunch, but this one we just got to play.
All right,
it's
let's hear
downright
this one.
creepy hearing Chris Hanson say this.
You are ready to have my fang in your...
Oh, jeez.
Was that a black dude?
Well, it was typed off as a thang.
But I'm saying the way he had to add thang.
Well, he's just reading the transcripts as they come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
His monotone, non-attached reading style left at the thang.
You don't want to sound like it's tittillating.
But here's the thing. A lot of times, I'm talking to these guys, and they're not very vocal, and sometimes the best way to get them to talk is to go back and read the transcripts. And I read them, verbatim.
Right.
And we try to balance, showing people what these guys are capable of doing and not trying to...
You ever get one of the black dudes, the soul shake? Like the extra black, like he was like, "What's up, man?" and gave you the thing. You just followed along with the.
No, but I did in the last investigation. I did get a
and you gave him a pound.
This was the guy who was the fan of yours. Right?
Hey,
we've been playing.
Wait a minute.
I can turn this around.
He invented it. I'm telling you, dirty new way.
I'll let this go so long. I'll flip this around.
Wait a minute. We're still arguing the fact if this guy was an actual fan of our show.
Oh, it's so true.
We have a lot at stake here.
Well,
we think he might have been a casual listener.
Casual?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
This guy came in, and he had the conversation with the on-site decoy in this most recent investigation, and she was brilliant because she could really engage these guys. So not only did we see this online grooming and this contact, we saw this play out in real time, and these guys are saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And so this happens, and it comes time for me to walk out, and he says, you're Chris Hanson. And I said, how did you know that? He goes, I'm a religious viewer. I never miss an episode. I pull them off the internet. And before I can formulate the next question, he says, "Oh, and I heard you on Opie and Anthony. You're pretty good." And I'm like, do you get the trouble that...
yeah, don't you understand this isn't a meet and greet?
Yeah.
You're pretty much screwed here.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Can I ask you a question, Chris?
Absolutely.
Why don't you... I watched the show. Matter of fact, they do marathons now, like...
On MSNBC.
Like they used to do Lockup, they changed it to Predator Night.
Yeah.
And I used to love Lockup.
Lockup's gone.
Yeah.
Let's just do this. Let's figure this out. The age 13, 14, all right, there's so many guys that get caught that there has to be something about that age that has to be a teetering age. Can you lower the age to 9 so that it is exact? Wait a minute.
Insane.
So that you know.
Wearing a tie.
Because there's so many dudes that come in to this 13 is not stopping people.
Patrice, that's supposed to show that there's a problem here.
Yes.
Not the fact that you lower the age to get these guys off the hook.
No. Not to get them off the hook.
See, I was with you if you said 15.
Wait a minute, no.
Jesus.
Lower the age to 9. Let me make sure you understand it.
He's in shock over there.
Listen to this. Listen, I don't care if Chris is in shock. Listen to this. Stop being a journalist for
Clearly.
Meaning the perverted justice people
Right, the decoy.
lower the decoy age to something fouler than 13.
I
understand
People
what I'm
say
saying?
13 is foul.
Don't try to back me into a corner.
I'm not
saying
backing you into a corner. You gotta
13
explain a
is
little.
an arguable age. I'm going to tell you why. I talked to my girlfriend the other day. I said, when did you have sex? She said 13 is when I first had sex with a 17-year-old guy. I said, did you feel like you were raped? Did you feel like you was taken advantage of? She said, no, I wanted to have sex. So I'm saying there's a few 13-year-olds that are having sex, I think not under the coercion.
Yeah, but they don't want with 30-year-old guys and
but
stuff.
make the age 9 so you go, because people are going 14.
But people are saying, to 13.
Chris, let Chris answer.
The law is the law. And the reality is this, and I understand your point, but I think from the decoy's point of view, when perverted justice does this, they try to set up the most realistic scenario. And you would see most often, I think, a scenario where a 13 or 14-year-old could conceivably be home alone, where perhaps a 9-year-old may not be.
And they're also trying to keep it sexy and hot.
To keep it, this is what I'm saying here, to keep it coming. So that if you lower it to 9, dudes that do that, you go, let's work our way from the bottom, because 13 and 14, basically what he's saying, it's an appealing age to come for dudes to be like, 14.
Well, it seems to be the age that a lot of these girls and guys, these predators, are using the computer and communicating with each other, are mostly in that age bracket.
Well, I think that's the age bracket that these potential predators target, because those are kids who are online and they're curious.
Right.
And they're out there in the social networking sites and in the chat room, so naturally they become the targets.
Yeah.
For this type
They're going for where the targets are.
Hey, why aren't you drinking our lemonade?
I wouldn't
my coffee here.
drink that either.
The cookies
God
are
knows
good.
where the
I don't
interns
know who
got
made
it.
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
We didn't poison the cookies.
He's smart.
Chris.
He's a smart man.
I haven't survived this long by being on the show.
I've been watching MSNBC, and on the weekends, it is just, I was talking about this the other day, I don't know how it's affecting people, but it is murder weekend. It is just murder weekend. Every weekend you could see murders and then how they catch the people. And I'm fascinated by this. And I saw one that you actually did a story on. And it was a while ago. You were adorable. You must have been very young in your younger days. It was that Double Jeopardy case.
Oh, it was the Malignado.
Oh, my God.
Down in...
Was that
That one is unbelievable.
That was the twins you were telling me about?
No, this was the one where a man...
down in Louisville, Kentucky?
Yeah, in Kentucky. He murdered his wife.
Correct.
And he had some girlfriend accomplice help him out. They photographed this murder and took some of her jewelry, did horrible things to her before they murdered her.
Wait, so they murdered her and they took all sorts of pictures?
Yeah, as he was having sex with her and murdering her. And they could never find these pictures or the missing jewelry, and that's what the case really hinged on with the jury.
But
They
how
said,
did,
well,
how
where
did
are
they know
these
there was pictures?
Well,
Somebody else,
they didn't
the woman
know
rolled.
initially. What happened was they tried this guy, and basically he got off. And some years later, as I recall, he sold the house, and the people came in to recarpet.
Yeah, pulled up the carpet.
They pulled up the carpet, and in one of the areas where there was a ventilation, they found some canisters of undeveloped film. And they developed this film, and it is photographic evidence of the actual murder.
Wow. And they couldn't, it's double jeopardy, so they got him on a perjury charge.
Right, they did.
But
50-year perjury.
he's out. Yeah, I think they tried. They got some like 8 years.
Good, yeah.
But he's out now, and whenever a camera approaches him, he just starts quoting gospel, and he's you're born again. So he doesn't address it. He just goes, the Lord will be my judge. And
you ever get scared of Max Cady stuff, Chris? Like, first, do you have police in there? That's what we was discussing before. Do you have people in there in case a dude goes, you mother, I'm going to knock you out right now?
We have a very detailed security protocol that we have, and so it's tailored to each individual location, and whether we're doing a predator thing or whether we're doing iPod theft or ID theft and we're in West Africa, I mean, we have a team in place, so I feel pretty comfortable.
I saw that.
Karate. You can fight, can't you?
Well, I grew up in Detroit.
He can fight.
All right.
He can take care of himself.
That's all he needs to say.
And here's another thing I like to ask, and sometimes I get a little bored watching you just catch it. Could you do something just like when the guys come up, have a 50-year-old woman answer the door, and just have the guys just go, wait a minute.
Yeah, we want bloopers.
13?
We want some bloopers.
It's not really a show conducive to comedy.
We want bloopers. We want Benny Hill music.
I don't think you can really spin it funny.
You old.
Hey,
I saw the Scam Show also. That was great from the Nigerian scammers. And when you get the guy running down the street, you must have known that was going to be funny.
He was moving fast.
Wait, could you explain? I didn't see this.
These are the guys that investigators call it the Nigerian scams.
Sure.
And they get you online. Hi, I'm so-and-so and so-and-so, and I need your help. I've got $38 million, but I need you to put up $10,000 to give me a bank account. And people fall for this stuff all the time.
Amazing.
There was a treasurer in Michigan who invested not only his own money but some county funds in this thing, thinking that it's alluring. It's like these people get drawn in these sweetheart swindles online. People are lonely. They spend time in these chat rooms, and they develop these relationships, and these other kind of predators prey on their emotions, and that wins over the intellect, and suddenly they're carving checks. But we had this guy who we had been in contact with, and I was posing as Rich Greenback.
Yes, Rich Greenback. He had like money that were all money names. It was really funny.
Jimmy DeMoney.
Jimmy DeMoney was one of I love it.
My producer in this case, Tim Mueller, who's a great guy, and he found this pub in London, and the ruse was that I was part owner of it, and that's where we had to have the meeting. Well, they always want to get you into their territory, but we wanted to get them in ours. So the guy comes in, and he's looking around, and we sit down, and we have the meeting. I said, look, we had a little problem with the funds transfer, but here's $500, and we'll get back later in the day. And so we're back and forth, and we meet him in different locations in London, and we look at Rolls Royces that I'm going to buy. Once this money comes in, we're sitting in it, and we're all comfy. And so the final guy comes back, and I confront him. I lower the boom. And I said, look, I know that you're trying to rip me off, and this guy is sweating profusely. And we're in this pub, and he looks at me and says, can I get a beer? I need a little bracer to take the edge off.
He starts drinking. He confronted one guy on the street and pretty much told him, I know you're trying to scam people. And the guy just turned and started running away. And you're just standing in the street going, excuse me, you want to talk?
But you feel like running can make anything go away.
Yeah.
If you run fast
And the best part is how you ask him, could I have my $500 back? Yeah. And the guy goes, yeah, actually gives him the $500
the finance people were so happy because I got this the money back each time. Yeah, it was good.
Are you at the top of your, what you do in the news world, is that, is it more prestigious to be Bill O'Reilly, be you, be blah,
Well, it's just different.
Oberman or something?
It's just different. I've always enjoyed investigative reporting. You know, when I was 14 years old, I lived a mile away from the restaurant where Jimmy Hoffa was kidnapped, and I became enthralled with this whole story, and I saw the network show up, and the FBI was there, and it just, you know, I got bit by the bug then. So I've always enjoyed this sort of reporting.
If they offered you Stone Phillips' job, would that be something you go, woo, I would love to do that? Or you'd be like, I'd rather stay doing what I'm doing?
It's not going to say no.
I've got a great gig, to be honest with you, and they let me do the kinds of stories I like to do. And one of the things that has come out of the Predator investigations is it has been a reminder that this kind of enterprise reporting, this kind of impact journalism, is not only something that people are interested in, that people watch, but it makes a difference. It creates a dialogue. It raises awareness, and it's, quite frankly, engaging for me. You know, it's interesting. You know, I love going to work. I love, you know, who gets to go on a plane and go to West Africa and track down some ID thieves? Who gets to do that?
Right.
It's got to be like, even though you're doing something for the greater good, let's say, you know, getting these people off the streets, it's got to feel good personally at a personal, just a basic human level, where you go, I'd love to get my hands on this guy that's doing this. Like when I read those scam emails,
right,
I want to write back and just go, who do you think you're kidding? I'm insulted that you sent me this.
Right,
that you think I'm so stupid.
And you get to confront these guys, and above and beyond that, you know, I work with some really smart, talented people. I mean, the producers with whom I work get it on every level, and they're not only bright journalists, you know, they're good pals, and so, you know, I have it pretty good.
Why is the show so popular, do you think?
To Catch a Predator?
Yeah.
You know, it's a combination of things. It's this knowledge that these guys are out there, and most people only see it on this anonymous, nameless, faceless genre, you know, where it's just text, and we bring this to life. And so you see the face of this guy walk in, and he's not a guy that has the word Predator tattooed on his forehead. He looks like the guy standing next to you at the dry cleaners on Saturday morning, and I think it's surprising to people that Joe Average, you know, would not only engage in this explicit discussion, which is in most states illegal in itself, but to walk into a stranger's home in a suburb, into a $3 million house on the Jersey Shore on the beach.
The beach ones are hilarious.
No big deal.
The beach ones are hilarious, with the girl just sitting there, just happens to have 2 beach chairs set up.
Yeah.
I was watching that over the weekend.
I think another compelling thing about the show is the fact that you're not seeing the people in cuffs in a mug shot.
Right.
You're seeing it taking place as it's happening.
And that was what was so compelling about the last investigation was this, you know, Casey, our decoy, who, you know, 18-year-old college student, theater, dance, who looks.
She really looks the part. It was amazing.
And she was really, but she was really smart. And she had the ability to engage these guys in a way that we had not seen before. And I think it was startling to people to see this real-time, live grooming process take place.
After the first time, did you go, after you did it the first time, did you go, we might as well make the best of this, because this will never be able to be done again? And you're like, wait a minute, every week we're getting 15 dudes to come see?
I figured we'd do it, you know, 2, maybe 3 times. And when we went to Riverside County, California, which is the first time we did our investigation and law enforcement did a parallel investigation, I really sort of thought, wow, you know, what are the odds that we're going to have anybody walk into this house? You know, we may come back with nothing but video of me pacing in a kitchen like the Maytag repairman. And this is the one where we had 51 guys show up.
51?
Guys were running into each other. We had a guy, a Homeland Security agent. We had a teacher. We had, guys from all walks of life.
Can I ask you a statistical question?
Sure.
Okay, we see the guys on your show.
Right.
How many dudes and how many teenage girls, how many times is this scenario that you playing out with Perverted Justice happening
in real life?
Yeah, that's not getting caught.
It's impossible to tell because of the nature of the internet. You know, the Justice Department really doesn't have good figures on this. I mean, they can tell you how many murders take place in any given city. They can tell you the recidivism rate for any given crime, but you can't track this stuff. You know, we know anecdotally that we can go into any city in America and have this happen. But in terms of how often it really happens, nobody really knows. I mean, that's the nature of the internet.
And you keep it at the letter of the law. Like earlier, you go, hey, it's the law. Now, is there something where you ever discuss in your own mind or to people like where you go, okay, here's the age? Because I see, there's a lot of Indian dudes on your show, and they're shocked. and I do stand up, and I talk to Indian dudes, and the age is something ridiculous over there where they're from, and they go, what? 14? That's old.
I think that the people who come into the house reflect the population of the city we're in. And the professions. If we're near a military base, we'll see more military guys. If we're, near Silicon Valley,
I know what you're doing now. I'm not making it a racial question.
But there's no
making it a law question, like
racial issue.
Like say there's no law.
Right.
There's no standard of law and an age that you just make up and decide.
But in this country, the law is the law.
The law is the law. But I'm saying, is there like a thing where you guys go, it's like, say if it was 16, the law was 17 in the state you're in, and then you send out a 16-year-old thing, and guys are coming out to see a 16-year-old, but the law is 17 where you are. So are you going to have the same outrage or the same disgust that the dude that's doing the 16-year-old
I think
thing?
that the protocol for perverted justice decoys is that they wouldn't even set up that scenario because it would be it wouldn't be illegal. It wouldn't be No, I mean, like, if 16 was...
a little marginal call right there.
Like, I think California's like 16.
Let's go to Mike in Jersey. This comes up a lot. Mike, go ahead. We got Chris Hanson on our show.
How you doing, guys? Notice how he said shut up.
Yeah.
You notice that?
All right, what's your question?
Well, I think it's entrapment. I think it's wrong. I mean, I
don't think he mean... Dude, calm down for a second. Wait a minute. I don't think he meant set up as in setting them up. I think he meant the scenario, and because cameras, police, things have to be set up, houses, so he's not saying he's trying to entrap the people. He's saying the scenario, he's not going to set up a 16-year-old scenario.
I know the guys are scumbags, but it's still entrapment.
You must get that a lot.
Yeah,
well, here's the entrapment.
Here's why it's not, and it's because when the perverted justice decoys go into the chat rooms, they simply have a profile which includes a picture that's unmistakably underage, and they sit and wait. They never make the first move. It's always the potential predator who makes the first move.
And isn't it the intent that is the crime? That's why a lot of people say, well, I was role-playing.
Right. It varies from state to state, the laws do, but in a lot of states, the online solicitation in and of itself could constitute a felony.
Regardless of who's on the other end.
Well, if it's somebody who they believe is underage. I mean, the police do sting operations all the time, and the decoy is not always, a 12 or 13-year-old kid.
Sure.
But that's how these people are called.
Right. Hey, we're running out of time here. We want to promote the... you're doing something on Dateline there, Chris?
Tonight at 10 Eastern, we are doing an investigation into iPod theft. And we didn't realize what a problem this was until one of our senior producers' sons had his iPod stolen. So we decided to go out and see if we could track these things and who was taking them. So we bought about 20 iPods, and we inserted into the package software. So whoever ended up with this thing would register with Apple and register with us. So then we had this 32-foot RV, right, and it's outfitted like a Predator house, hidden cameras and everything. And it's got a banner on the side saying music giveaway. And so when we'd identify where one of these things was, we'd pull up, and the producer would get out with balloons and a camera crew, a la Prize Patrol, knock on the door and say, you're eligible for this free music giveaway, this music download card. They'd come into the RV, and I'm sitting there, and I'd sit down, and I'd ask them, where'd you get it? Best Buy, Circuit City, cash or credit card, right? What kind of music do you have on it? And for 20 minutes, go on, and say, there's a video I want you to see, and of course, there's a monitor up there, and then the video is, in some cases, of them stealing the actual iPod. And it goes back around to the question, should Apple do more? Could it do more? What's the responsibility to track these things, given the fact that, this eye-jacking,
right,
as it's called, is epidemic?
Know what I'm thinking? So the guy goes into the RV, he sees you like, oh no, I didn't touch her. And then was like, oh, he got me because I stole an iPod. He's like,
they see you like, no, man,
look, I'm not trying to say that iPod theft is the same as
yeah, but as soon as they see you, though, they're like, they're in a panic, like, oh no.
And people would come in and say, hey, you look like that Chris Hanson. I said, I get that all the time.
I get that all the time.
They're pretty much relieved that you got him for an iPod freaking theft instead of the other one.
It's really a fun...
it sounds like a lot. And also you got a book out there, right?
Absolutely. It's on the whole predator issue, the enemy already in your home. And, I took all these experiences that I've had and looking in the eyes of some 300 of these guys and talked to some of the experts in this field and distilled this information for parents to help keep their kids safe online.
It's called To Catch a Predator, Protecting Your Kids from Online Enemies Already in Your Home.
Before we go, though, I got to ask you if you're allowed to talk about the lawsuit at all that's against the network.
Look, I can tell you this. I'm a little limited because the lawsuit's actually been filed, but, the lawyers have gone through the claims. They're without merit, and NBC is going to defend itself vigorously. Mm-hmm. Anybody can file a lawsuit, and they don't have to verify the things that are in it.
It's a guy that apparently took his life because he was caught in one of the...
the DA?
Yeah.
I was actually... I ain't gonna lie to you. The DA. I was like, good for you. Because he was one of the dudes that helped set up the whole thing, supposedly.
Well, it is kind of ironic.
The family, right? Yeah.
All right, listen, we got a break. We're running out of show here. Chris Hanson, it's always a pleasure.
Guys, thanks for having me. I
always
appreciate
a pleasure, man.
I'm really mad you didn't drink any of our lemonade or even try the
Got me
cookies.
some coffee.
You got the coffee, though.
Shape, yeah.
Tonight, it's on Dateline. Chris tracks down stolen iPods and confronts the thieves in a hidden camera investigation. 10 o'clock tonight on NBC.
Well, Chris, now you're free to go. I think what's waiting for you outside. Thanks so much, man. Always a pleasure having you on, man.
I appreciate it.
Robin,